Humanity wasn't built for void warfare. That's what the aliens believed, until Earth's moon split open like an eye, and 40 million dying human minds reached into reality itself. In less than 90 seconds, an entire alien fleet began to vanish. Not destroyed, but erased, as if it had never existed. The Nethics Communion's flagship Eternal Rationale registered the impossible reading 3 seconds before its shields collapsed. Sensors showed Earth's moon splitting open, not breaking apart. Opening, like an eye. Fleet Physician Nethics stood frozen at the observation deck as something crawled out of Luna's manufactured crater, a shape that hurt to perceive, colors that had no business existing in real space, and a sound his auditory organs couldn't process, but his limbic system interpreted as screaming. 46,000 alien warships holding orbital position around Earth had 92 seconds to understand what was happening before their hulls began to disappear. Nethics had spent 60 cycles cataloging human weaknesses. Their DNA degraded with time. Their cells required constant oxygen. They slept a third of their lives away, dreaming in the dark while empires conquered stars. 2 rotations ago, he'd submitted his final assessment to the War Council. Homo sapiens represents no strategic threat. Biological architecture fundamentally unsuited to void warfare. Recommend immediate pacification. The Council had laughed. Earth had burned. Now Nethics watched human stations across the lunar surface, bleeding light into space, and nothing in his medical database explained what his instruments were recording. The data stream showed human biosignatures, millions of them, but the patterns were wrong. Hearts beating in synchronization across continental distances, neural activity spiking past lethal thresholds and staying there, body temperatures dropping to near freezing while brain function somehow accelerated. "Fleet Physician," Commander Shall's voice crackled through the deck speakers. "Explain the readings." "I cannot." Nethics manipulated the holographic interface with 3 trembling appendages. Humans don't have the neural capacity for collective consciousness. Their brains evolved for isolated cognition, not— The Eternal Rationale lurched sideways. Gravity failed for half a second. When it returned, 6 of Nethics' crew were missing. Not dead, not vaporized. Missing, as if they'd never existed. And their stations showed no record of assigned personnel. The ship's manifest had rewritten itself. Nethics pulled up visual feed from the fleet's outer perimeter. The 7th Battle Group, 2,000 warships, was gone. Empty space where moments ago there had been an armada. No debris, no energy signatures. Just absence, clean and absolute as a surgical cut through reality. "Medical emergency declared," Shall announced, voice tight with something Nethics had never heard from his species. Fear. "All vessels report crew disappearances. No pattern. No warning." Nethics forced himself to study the lunar stations. His training demanded answers. Through the cascading data, he found them. Biometric records from Earth's surface. The signatures belonged to volunteers. 40 million humans in underground facilities, almost strapped to machines that Nethics' civilization had the technology to build, but had never conceived of using. Not on living subjects, because the machines were designed to hold someone in the precise moment between life and death. They'd assumed humans would need decades to understand communion technology. The wreckage of their advance fleet had been scattered across Earth's moon for 8 rotations. Long enough for human scientists to reverse engineer void compression drives, quantum communicators, and, horrifyingly, medical stasis. Fields capable of freezing biological processes at the cellular level. Long enough for humans to do something no rational species would attempt. The volunteers weren't dying. They were being held in the instant before death. Consciousness expanded across quantum-entangled neural tissue, creating a collective mind that operated outside conventional physics. 40 million human brains experiencing clinical death simultaneously, all connected, all broadcasting the same impossible message into the fabric of space. You do not belong here. Nethix watched the lunar installation's power output triple. The thing emerging from the moon wasn't a weapon. It was the volunteers. All of them. Overlapped. Superimposed. 40 million human minds occupying the same quantum state, and that state was rejecting the communion's presence in Earth's gravity well. "They're editing us out of existence," Nethix whispered. Another battle group vanished. The void simply closed around 3,000 warships like water, filling a hole. Shal was screaming orders, demanding retreat vectors, but the navigation systems were failing. Every display showed the same coordinates. Earth's moon. Every ship in the fleet was already there, quantum locked to the lunar surface by a consciousness field that had decided the communion fleet had never arrived. Nethix accessed the volunteers' vital signs one final time. The readings made him wish he'd never studied biology. Heart rates dropping, temperatures falling, brain activity climbing past any theoretical maximum. The humans were dying, actually dying now, not suspended. The machines couldn't hold them much longer. But they didn't need much longer. The eternal rationale's hull began to unmake itself, atoms forgetting their bonds. Nethix felt his own body start to thin, to spread, to become uncertain. So his last conscious thought before dissolution was a realization that should have come 60 cycles earlier. Humans didn't evolve for void warfare. They evolved to look at the void and ask, what if I could make it afraid? The lunar installation burned for 6 minutes before the power reserves failed. By then, the Communion's fourth conquest fleet, 92,000 warships, 15 million souls, had been retroactively deleted from history. Earth's orbital defenses registered 0 hostile signatures. Automated systems noted no active conflicts. 40 million volunteers flatlined in their cradles simultaneously. In the underground command center beneath Colorado, Dr. Maren Holst watched the biometric feeds go dark one by one. She'd told them the truth during recruitment. Told them the quantum bridge couldn't sustain consciousness indefinitely. Told them the way back required brain patterns that would no longer exist after neural synchronization at that scale. She'd stopped telling them after the first 1,000 volunteers. By then, they all knew. They came anyway. Her daughter's biosignature was the last to fade. Holst had programmed the system to show her that one separately, had needed to know the precise moment. The timestamp would sit in her memory like a splinter. 4:37:22 UTC. Earth's defense network flagged 73 additional communion fleets in nearby systems. They would arrive within the year. The lunar installation would need 6 months to rebuild its power reserves. The volunteer database showed 18 million new applications submitted in the past hour, while Holst stood in the darkened command center, looking at 18 million names, and understood with perfect clarity what humanity had just become. The enemy thought human biology was a joke. They'd been right. It was the punchline that killed you.